Welcome back to Stage 2 for my Platinum Guide on Uncharted 4 from the Legacy of Thieves Collection. I have to make a mental note because the Platinum is different on the Legacy of Thieves. This is going to pertain to all the combat-related trophies that we did not get during our original playthrough, as well as the Speedrun trophy. So for the first one, we're going to start here at Drawbridge, which is under the 12 Towers chapter. This is going to be defeat 10 enemies in 60 seconds with the China Lake grenade launcher. Now, one thing to make sure is this is done in the encounter selection. You're going to want to choose whatever difficulty you want to do this on. It's completely up to you. This is an encounter, not during our actual playthrough, but something you can do afterwards, because this is something you really cannot do during your game because you're just not going to have enough grenades in the China Lake for you to be able to do it. So all you're going to want to do is make sure you have infinite weapons on, so that, or should I say infinite ammo, and then click over to your weapons and make sure you select the China Lake as your starting weapon, and then just keep firing until you reach 10. This needs to be done in a location where you can, 1, use the China Lake, and 2, there's enough enemies to actually take down. Some of these trophies can be a little hard to get because your AI companions can take out enemies, which makes it difficult for you to achieve specific objectives, but I found that this one is pretty easy to get, and this is the first one that we're going to do in today's video. Now, next up, we're going to be going to Chapter 8, The Bridge. We're going to be getting the defeat 1,000 enemies, defeat 10 enemies in a row, alternating gunplay, and the third one is to use all weapons. So first of all, this is a great location to get a lot of trophies. I did it in my actual crushing walkthrough as well. So I got the 1,000 kills during the middle of me trying to get this specific trophy, which is really hard to get actually, because Sam really messes things up, because you might be in the middle of shooting someone and then Sam will take them out, and then it's really hard to understand if your next shots on the next enemy should be a melee or if it should be the other. So here, this was just a random thing. This could come at any time during your playthrough of defeating 1,000 enemies. So what we're going to do at this point is restart the checkpoint, and it's actually going to be the one that we were able to grab the trophy with. Again, most of these can be done, or should I say all of the combat related objectives can be done during encounters. So first of all, there you go. So we shot first, then we meleeed, then shoot again, and then just keep repeating this process. So once you've shot and you make sure that they're down, then you melee, and then you just keep going. Like I said, Sam can get in the way. See, he took out that guy, but it doesn't ruin what you're trying to do. You just need to yourself remember, which one am I on? Like, did Sam take out the guy in front of me that I was already shooting at, which means I still need to continue and shoot at the next guy and not go to melee. It has to be a kill that you are actually doing. So just keep going back and forth. This is a section that you can do this on because there are enough enemies. However, this can be a little tough just because Sam can make things a little bit more difficult for you, but you will be able to achieve this. So Leapfrog is complete. Defeat 10 enemies in a row, alternating gunplay and hand-to-hand. So from this point, we're going to get the final thing that we need for all weapons. So if you followed along with my crushing platinum playthrough, then you'll know where we're currently at. And the only thing left to use, we've used all weapons except for one. So I said to myself while I was doing this was random, I decided to do it. I was like, I know that I haven't done the propane tank. So I decided, well, there's one enemy left. Why not throw the propane tank? And then boom, I accidentally all the guns. So that's that specific trophy done, which was really fun, and one that I wasn't planning on doing just yet, but there we go. Next up is going to be in Chapter 20, the Ship Graveyard. We're going to get a few of them, Rushing Roulette and Butterfingers. So we need to kill 10 enemies that drop grenades and defeat an enemy with a pistol, machine gun, and grenade in that order. We're going to start out with Rushing Roulette. One of the things about this section is here, you can do a lot of trophies in this section. This one right here is really easy to do, the Russian Roulette one. You can do it right here at the very, very beginning of when you start this encounter. Pretty easy. So once they're done, all you got to do is follow the guideline for what it said to accomplish it. So start with your pistol, take it out. Now go to your machine gun, your assault rifles account as that, and then grenades down here. And boom, you got Russian Roulette. Now, the next one can be a little tough. This one, you could possibly have earned throughout your playthrough, depending on how quick you are at shooting enemies, which it means that as soon as an enemy is trying to throw a grenade at you, you shoot that enemy. We've turned on bullet speed. You notice how he's revving up there, and when we aim, it slows down time. So that is another one of those unlocks that you can do after you've beat the game, of course. So that's what makes these so much fun to do at this point. Again, all you need to do is make sure you have bullet speed on in your modifiers, which just slows down time whenever you are aiming. And these specific enemies here are the ones I found to throw grenades the most. These guys can kind of get in the way. It's a little, at this point you could just restart the checkpoint until you get the first few ones over and over. But I already had a few from my main playthrough, so we're just showing like 2 or so on here. So we're going to take out the ones I know that really don't have grenades to throw. Take out these 2 heavies, which doesn't really mean anything for this specific trophy. And then the next set of enemies that'll come in, as you'll see here, I'm going to pause the game and you'll see that there is only actually 1 enemy left for us to get the enemies that drop grenades, since we're at 9, because you need a total of 10. And I know these stats are looking a little weird, but that's because this is an encounter, and encounter stats are completely separate from main game stats. So we're going to move forward a little bit, and as you can see, the other ones that have spawned in have come. These guys are the perfect ones that actually throw grenades, but you need to be at a proper distance for them to throw the grenades. If you're too close to them, they'll just rush you and they won't throw grenades. If you're at a good distance, these enemies will actually start to do the animation of throwing a grenade, and that's when you can actually get it. So I found to go back to this point once they spawn and then wait for one of them to rev up the motion of throwing the grenade. Right there, and there we go. Butterfingers. So those are the ones that we have covered for this specific section in Chapter 20. Very, very fun stuff. So we're going to move on to this one. This is under Hidden in Plain Sight, Chapter 11. This is from Convoy. Destroy 10 vehicles while being dragged from the rope and 20 headshots from the rope. Now, depending on what you've done in your main game, these numbers might already be up enough, and you might not have to do a lot to uncover this. This is the obvious best section to do this in, because you're literally being dragged for a good, well, it depends on how long you want to actually wait on the rope. And that's one of the things you need to remember is don't get up off of the rope. Make sure you stay on the rope. So once this starts, the first thing we're going to do here, of course, is go into options and make sure that we have lock aim off, because we need to get headshots. And the best way to get headshots is to not have that on. Next, go to your bonus, and we're going to go down not to weapons, because there's really no weapons that you can pick in this one, because it just forces you while you're on the rope to have whatever weapon it does. But we're going to turn on infinite ammo, and we're going to turn on the bullet speed mode, which is, again, when you aim, you are able to slow down time. This will make getting the headshots significantly easier, as well as, just making sure your shots are good. So we're not going for headshots right now. We're just going for the vehicles. I've already destroyed a few vehicles in the course of my playing the game myself when I did my crushing walkthrough, so there's not many that need to be unlocked here. So just the best thing for you to actually do is to get up to the rope to where you're hanging from it, even though when you're dragged you're still kind of... Actually, you know what? I'm not 100% sure if you have to be hanging like this or if you could be dragged by the rope. That's something that I'm actually not sure on, but all I know is that when I got up here, I was able to accomplish it. That adds to the headshots, of course, that you can get, but we're just going to sit here and try to angle our shots as much as we can. This is almost an infinite amount of vehicles that will come while you're over here, but this can take a while because sometimes enemies take a while before they respawn, so you can just restart the checkpoint over and over to farm the first few over and over again, or you can just keep this going and eventually enemies will spawn in front of you and behind you, and then you can finish off this one here. So we got to do that again, a total, and I went ahead and skipped ahead a little bit more so we can actually get to it. Hang tough, which is destroy 10 vehicles while being dragged from the rope. It says dragged, not hanging, so I guess that one you can do when you're on the rope being dragged or when you're just in the air. So this is still considered being dragged. Now we can get the headshots, and there you go. So as you can see, getting headshots, just keep doing that until you're able to perform 20 headshots from the rope, and you should unlock that trophy. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one, we are going to go ahead and be in Showdown. This is in Chapter 20. This is defeat 4 enemies with the same explosion. Now, this doesn't have to be from an RPG. It could be from any explosion. It could be from a grenade. It could be from dynamite. But you just need 4 enemies as close to you as possible. I found Showdown in Chapter 20 to be the best location for this because it's the one location where you automatically know for a fact 4 enemies will be right next to each other. So it doesn't matter what difficulty you do this on. Of course, although I do recommend you doing them on the easier difficulties because that way you can put yourself in a position to make sure you get this so that way you're not like kind of just getting hit in any RNG and kind of thing. So take out these first few enemies that are down here. Go over to where the RPG is. See the first one dropped. Now these other 4 or other 3 will. And then boom, you're easily able to get Boom County, which is defeat 4 enemies with the same explosion. So yeah, we're getting closer and closer to having all of the trophies. Next up is going to be hitting a brick wall, defeat 5 armored enemies with melee. This is going to be done in Chapter 10, Avery's Tower. So the guys that have the helmets on, the big guys with the shotguns, they are the ones that you need to take out. There's actually 2 type of heavies in this level, so it could be a little confusing because you need to defeat, I think it said, what, 5 of these guys? If I'm not mistaken. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do melee on them. Only melee. So take out these normal guys here first because they can kind of get in your way. Even though we're on the easiest difficulty, they can still get in your way. So in order to actually jump on these guys, you have to jump with X. Now, I'm just using PlayStation controls for purposes because this is what I did it on. You have to hit X and then square. That is how you're able to jump on them. So jump with X and then hit square. See, I forgot to hit square there, so it could take a few times to get used to it. Now, once you've done that, go ahead and continue with the melee. You can take them out. If you try to melee them while they're in their full gear, you won't be able to do so. Now, those guys can actually come up a little bit, so you need to kind of move around as much as possible. You could just, restart the checkpoint here over and over again to get the ones you want. But for me, I just pretty much did it, took them all out. I think it took a total of 2 times to actually do it. Just went ahead and took out the other guys as well, just because, I love the gameplay. So when they're on top there, obviously some more just dropped in. Notice how you have the guys, some of them are going to be a little different. Like some of them won't actually count. So like this guy right here, I don't think he actually counts. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Sometimes it counted and sometimes it didn't. So you just have to kind of go until you think you've done enough. And then once you're able to finally get that trophy to pop, then you'll be good to go. This one took me, like I said, a little bit of time because I wasn't 100% sure which one counted and which ones don't. These guys don't. So you can, at this point, you can go ahead and just restart the checkpoint as you're trying to do it. You don't have to take these guys out again because it's really not going to help you whatsoever because these guys have nothing to do with it. They're just kind of an annoyance. So go ahead and take him out here. But again, don't even do all this. Just restart at this point instead of waiting. But since the encounter is complete, we can just restart it here and repeat the process again. I thought I should have had it at this point because I think we've already taken out what I thought was 4. So I thought just 1 more is all we needed. But I think some of those, at least 1 or 2 of those guys did not count. So that's why it might take you a few extra than what you might originally think. So we're getting close. All right, so it looks like, as you can see, we still need at least 1 more. Again, you want to take these guys out because they are annoying and they'll keep firing at you, even though you don't have to really worry about dying, but it just can be really annoying. You just repeat this over and over again, and then you'll finally have it. There you go, hitting a brick wall. Defeat 5 armored enemies with melee only. Now it's time for the speed run. Now I know what everyone's going to say. Strain, do the speed run. Yes, obviously I could easily complete the speed run on the easiest difficulty. If you want to see me do that in a stream, please let me know in the comments below. I'm going to show you a quick way to do it. What you're going to do is make sure you've beat the game once already. Start up a new game. Do not turn on any of your trophies or statistics. Make sure that says no and go ahead and load into the game. Do not save under your current save, so you're going to create a new game data save. Our original one is save game 1, and you know it's at the epilogue because you see the sunny sky there. That's the picture that shows up when you know you've completed the game. So start the game up. Doesn't matter what difficulty you choose this. Once you see the text on the screen, you're going to want to go ahead, pause it, and save the game. Save it under that new one that you curated, which is save game number 3. Once you've done so, you're going to quit back to the main menu. Now you're going to want to load up your finished game, the one that's in the epilogue. So load game, go to save game 1. This is for me. It might be different for you. Just remember which one your actual completed save game is. Load that up. You're going to have a cinema starting at the very end. Go ahead and skip that cinematic. And then you'll see the ending here. Now pause it and exit. Now what you're going to want to do is load back up your original, or not original, your new game that you just did. You remember that save you did at the beginning after the text? So go back to save game 3 for us. Once that comes back on screen, you're going to see the text again, and then go ahead and pause and then exit the game. And now you should be back at the main menu. So at this point, it's pretty easy. All you need to do is go to Extras. I get a little confusing in the steps here, but go to Extras and go to Credits. And there you go. Uncharted Speedrun. It's something that's been in the game ever since it originally released, and it is still in the game. Ladies and gents, there you have it. Every trophy is complete that we can do at this point. There are still 2 more trophies to get, and that's because we have to collect all the trophies in the DLC. So you guys will see that DLC coming up as well. Once we do that, then the Platinum is unlocked. There's only 1 Platinum for the Legacy of Thieves Collection, but it includes both games. It's not like the individual games where you have to do multiplayer on the original one, so it's a little different. So I hope you guys understand, and of course, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the DLC. Peace.